that. You made me
I
do
primed
that.
you. I was saying
you
Wayne
did. Greg.
That's so funny.
Greg,
That is
G-R-E-G, Greg.
Dwyer, yes.
Dwyer.
I love you. That's funny. That's
That-
great.
well, see-
That's priceless. That's okay.
Isn't that fun? Yeah.
We were
Well,
talk-
Wayne Dwyer is, he was somebody that I listened to when I first got into trying to find more out of my life. So I listened to almost all of his series, and there
Yep.
was a time I did not like him at all, where his ego got really, really, really big.
It did.
And then he came full circle
He
again.
did. He started off in New York as a teacher,
Yeah.
and pulling your strings, and there was a few other
Yeah.
books in the 70s that my
Yeah.
mom was, and
Yeah.
then he exploded. I actually met him in New York one time, and I was wearing a collar, like I
Yeah.
looked like a priest,
Yeah.
and he shook my hand. Then he went back up on stage and started criticizing organized religion, and there was a nun in the audience. But then I think he took a change.
Yeah,
he
did.
really did.
He
Yeah.
became quite ego-filled for a while.
He did.
And then
Yeah.
it was interesting to watch it.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
transformation.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, even
Yeah.
people that teach it
Yeah.
need to learn something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you put a little thing on the...
Oh, yeah.
What is that, and why is it on my table?
It's one of the things that I do in my lecture, The Magic of Communication, is I teach people by example that communication isn't just words.
Okay.
We think, we have to get all the words correct, or we have to say the right thing, but 93% of communication is nonverbal.
Yeah.
So one of the things I do, and I can show you if you want, and
Sure.
I have no psychic ability. People think, they'll come back after the lecture and say, you must be a psychic, or you must have some kind of, I have none.
The words, I think everybody has a preconceived idea what psychic is.
Okay.
My opinion is the veil between this life and the next life is very thin. Some people are able to see through it, cross through it, others cannot.
I think October 31st, November 1st, people have had that tradition for ages, that is
Yeah.
where the veil is the thinnest. I've had some things happen in my life, spiritual, supernatural things, no tricks, and I don't want to get into them. They're very personal, but I do believe there is a supernatural. I do believe in God. I believe in intelligence, infinite intelligence. I do believe the prophets in the Old Testament had knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
I don't claim that. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah.
do the best
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
Maybe I will say something genius and I can say, thank God, God
Yeah.
was speaking through
Yeah.
me, but
Yeah.
I don't do tarot readings. I don't read palms.
Yeah.
Everything that I do is based on observation
Okay.
in my head.
Okay. So what is
you want
the
to see
dice?
this? Okay.
Yes.
So what we're going to do, we're going to play a little game. It's
Okay.
a die, and I don't know if most people know this. The 6 at the 1 equals 7, and if you add the 3 and the 4, you have 7. So a die adds up to
I
7.
do.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. So if you have the 5, over on the other side is
2.
So God creates the world in 6 days. He rests on the seventh day, So what I would like you to do is, we didn't work this out.
No,
We didn't talk
no,
about this at
no.
all. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, I'm going to take off my glasses. I'm going to just close my eyes like this.
Okay.
And then take the die, and I don't know if you have a favorite number. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 4, maybe it's 6. But I want you to think about this as I'm doing this. This says 1, this says 2. Think about 2, then think about 3.
So I can only think about one of the numbers that's on the die.
Then 4, then 5, and then 6. And as you're going through this in your head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pick a number, and then put it down like this. Like if you picked 1, you would go like this, and then just put your hand over it.
Okay.
But don't give me any signals. Don't go like this if it's 1. Or
I can't go like this.
if you go, well, Greg, what do you think it is? Please don't try to give me any signals. All right.
Okay.
So you don't have to shovel. I'm going to take off my glasses.
Okay.
And just put it down on the table.
Okay.
Okay. So one of the ways to do this is just a natural conversation. So let's just have a conversation. What
Okay.
would you like to talk about?
Right now, I'm going to talk about my plant.
Okay.
Okay, my plant is a succulent, and I have it on the table because I want to advertise the Connecticut Cactus and Succulent Show in April.
Okay.
Okay, it's April 14th and 15th at the, I need my little cheat sheet here. At the Bristol Senior Center, 240 Stafford Avenue in Bristol, and it's free to the public.
Wow. That's
There
great.
are little plants given to the first 50 people who come every day, and
How many people?
First 50 people get a little free cutting.
Wow.
Little
So
plant.
you made 50 of these.
No, I'm making the planters to be sold. There's growers who grow all of these wonderful plants.
But you're going to make 50 of these?
100.
Oh, okay.
100.
But you mentioned 50, and I wonder if the number 50 has anything to do with the 5 that you have.
It is a 5.
It is a 5. Okay. So people tend to give away, and that's a 5. Look at that is a 5.
Yeah,
so.
no, the first 50 people who come to the show get a free plant from the.
I
the
just
Cactus
wondered if you were
Society.
giving me a hint about the 5.
No, I didn't even do it on purpose.
So people
I
give
didn't do it on purpose.
people give things away.
Yeah.
They give things away.
Ah.
It doesn't always work, but this worked, so that was kind of fun.
That's very funny because I was advertising this, trying to get people to.
Yeah.
And it is the first 50 people who come get a.
I believe you.
free-
I
yeah.
believe you, but we could have talked
Yeah.
about anything,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you start gravitating towards that number. And I knew it wasn't 50, so I thought, I wonder if it could be the 5.
darn.
Don't worry
Am
about
I
it.
that easy? Huh?
No,
Yeah.
people give things away non-verbally. One time I was in Fiji, and I was sitting behind this guy that was sitting in front of me, and he had 2 women, and he was talking about this great business opportunity, and they weren't listening. One was looking out the window, the other one was grabbing her head, and he didn't get it because he wasn't aware of it. So one of the things I talk about in the magic of communication is to be aware of our communication and other people's communication.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if I'm talking to a bunch of people who aren't interested in anything that I'm saying, the light bulb should go off with me and say, hey,
Change the subject.
You've lost them.
Exactly.
You've
And most
lost
people don't see that.
Yeah.
Most people are so caught up in what they want to say that they're not present. Like, can you imagine going on a trip and being behind a camera the whole time and just not experiencing the trip? Well, it's the same thing with everyday life.
Yeah.
You can be so caught up with your own thoughts that you're not noticing symbols and what's going. Yeah. So anyway.
I met a woman once who would close her eyes
Oh.
and put her head back and talk and talk and talk.
Wow.
And it was so obvious that she did not want anybody else to speak.
I see.
She wanted to have the floor to herself, and you couldn't interrupt her because she wouldn't have eye contact with you.
Wow. This wasn't your mother-in-law, was it?
No, my mother-in-law, they used to call her Saint Eva. She
Oh,
was
okay.
a marvelous
Oh, that's
lady.
nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. That's nice.
No, it's my brother-in-law's sister-in-law. That's
Oh, okay.
and I have so many brother-in-laws.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah,
no
yeah.
idea
Yeah,
who
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And that is about the most blatant form of
Yes. Cut off.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk with you. I'm talking at you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not communication.
No.
My lecture is called The Magic of Communication, and it's how we communicate with ourselves. And the second part is how we communicate with other people. It's fun.
Dialogues are great.
It's wonderful. It's
You
wonderful.
know, and when you don't have a dialogue, when you're holding the floor by yourself and the other person is I've had a couple of guests that were difficult.
Really? I
Yes.
hope I'm not one of them. Okay.
No,
okay.
I had a wonderful person on, but he gave one-word answers.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, it's interesting you talk
Yeah.
about that. We talk in our lecture, or my lecture, on personalities.
Yeah.
So I bring out 4 diamonds. The first one is red, the second one is yellow, then I bring out a green one and a blue one. The red is the driven personality, bottom line. The next one, the yellow one, is the touchy-feely that wants to save the world and hug people and be very related. The other one is the analytical. It's yes, no, it's facts.
Yeah.
And then the last one is the person that just wants to have fun. And I talk about in the lecture, you have to learn how to communicate with all of these different styles. That's important.
And you should be a little bit of all those
Yes.
people yourself.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
Speaking of red, What's this little red book?
Okay. Well, in my lecture, I have everybody look around the room for everything that's red. So I bring this out, I bring out my tie.
Okay.
And then I have them close their eyes, and I say, now I want you to recount to me everything in the room that you saw that's black, which it throws them off. My glasses, they're red, but they're also black.
Yeah.
And then one of the things
So you say look for everything red, but you're trying to see what they saw.
Yes.
If they
I trick
saw
'em.
more.
Yes, exactly.
If they saw more.
And what I say is, if you're looking for something, if you're looking for that new car, you're looking for that new job, and you're priming yourself and you're setting yourself up for it, you're going to find where those things show up. So one of the things I do is I wrote down some words, like for instance.
On every single page?
Yes, every single page, but they're different. Hopefully you're not bored.
No.
Here is lonely. Here is joyful. Here is frustrated. And so what I do is I pick somebody from the audience and I give them the pad and I say, all right, let's look at this. Let's pick out.
Do you have them open
Yeah,
randomly?
yeah. Well, what we do is we do two things. One is we have them open it up and we say, all right, angry. This is, and we can play along with this or we can not. But what I say to them is I say, now I want you to think of a time that you felt angry. So if you wanted to play along with me, we could.
Okay.
So you don't have to tell me, and I'm certainly not going to read your mind. I promise you, I cannot.
No.
So here's what I say. Think of a specific time in the last 5 years when you felt angry. Maybe somebody cut you off, maybe someone said something to you, but it has to be a specific time. So you see what you saw.
I'm trying to think of some time when I was angry.
You want to look at another one? We can look at another one. All right. How about this one? Cheerful. All right. So let's do that one.
Okay.
So think of a last time that you felt cheerful. Don't tell me what it is. See what you saw, and then hear what you were hearing. Maybe you were hearing something from someone else. Maybe your favorite team won, or something happened, or you said something internally.
Yeah.
Or you started to feel something. So you're feeling something, you're seeing something, you're hearing something. Can you think of a specific time?
Yes.
Okay. So then what I do is I will, all right, now let's go here. I know we can go here, but we're not going to stay here. What's that one?
Oh,
Grieving.
that's grieving.
All right. So my mom died when I was a kid. My dog died a couple years ago.
I lost my cat last summer.
Right. So what I will do is I'll say to somebody, do you smell popcorn? Do you smell popcorn?
I could.
All right. But so we're getting your mind off of it. That's breaking the pattern. And now we're going to look at grieving. So breathe how you would breathe when you were specifically grieving over that cat. All right. You're not going to stay there. You're not going to stay there.
No.
Okay. Can you see it? All right. And you're there now. All right. All right. So this is what I say in my lecture. A lot of times we have the illusion that someone does something or something happens and then we're not given a choice of how to react. Now, we have so many choices here: angry, sad, lonely, impatient, fearful. And I say, I understand that emotions can come up, but we don't have to live there.
Yeah.
We can choose what things mean.
If you have an emotion that is strong, if you embrace it for a little while, then let it go, and then but if you don't acknowledge it, it's going to stay there forever.
Yes, you get stuck.
You have to acknowledge it. A lot of people, when they lose a spouse, they are so into, we've got to do the funeral, all these people are coming out. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I'll just get through the day. I don't want to talk about it.
Which is okay for that day.
But the next day and the next day, if you don't talk about it, then that's going to be your life for the rest of your life.
One of the things that I do with individual clients is I have them sit in a chair, whether I'm working with them one-on-one or on the phone, and I say, I want you to imagine a circle in front of you, which is like a black hole. And I want you to feel that feeling of grieving. And I want you to fully experience it. Now I want you to imagine that you are going forward into that hole, down deeper below that emotion. What's the emotion below that? and then they give me the emotion. It could be sadness, and then we take it to the furthest extreme till we get to nothing.
Yeah.
But you do have to move through the emotions.
Oh, yeah.
You have to move through the
I know
process.
a lot of people who have lost children. I was a
yep.
member of the Compassionate Friends for years.
Oh, okay.
And I got so that when a couple came in, I could tell
Yeah.
whether they were the ones that were going to be able to find joy in their life again, or whether their life was going to be stuck in that dark place. And there were people, their life was always going to be in that dark place, and there were other people who, it doesn't happen right away, but all of a sudden you laugh and you say, oh my God, I laughed.
Right.
I laughed. And, you know, I've always wakened in the morning looking forward to the day.
Exactly. You got to be grateful.
Yeah.
You know, if you look for that. So the other thing I've learned from the ministry is it's like a seesaw.
Yeah.
Couples go through death of a loved one's child.
Yeah.
And what happens is one is grieving, the other one isn't grieving because they want to maintain the relationship. And then the other person starts to go through the process, and then the other person starts grieving, and then there's divorce.
Yeah, you cannot expect somebody to grieve the way you do, when you do, how you do.
Exactly.
And it's the hardest thing in the world.
Yes.
Because couples, 80% of them divorce.
There was a man by the name, he's still around, John Gottman. He would walk into a room, videotape people for a couple hours, watch them for 3 or 4 minutes, and predict whether they were going to be still married 20 years later, just by the way they communicated, verbally and non-verbally.
Yeah.
So let's try this.
That's amazing.
I'm going to ask you to put it in your right hand. Are you right hand?
Okay, I am right
So you're just going to put it in your hand like this, and then you're just going to put your hand on top of it, your left hand.
Yeah.
So you'll do that.
Okay.
And then what you're going to do is your thumb, you're just going to peek at one of them.
One of them.
Don't riffle through them because...
And you're going to tell me what I'm peeking.
I'm not sure, but here's what I want you to do is I want you just to focus on one thing. Because if you focus on, like we're talking about grieving, then we don't want you to focus on 2 or 3 other ones. So it's going to go in this hand, and then the hand on top, and then you're just going to, but don't let me see it. I'll put it right there, and then thumb, and then go ahead. I'll take my glasses off, peek at one of them, and then close the book. And then put it here because we don't need it anymore. So I would ask you to think of a specific time when you felt that way. So it could have been today, could have been this morning, could have been last week, it could have been a year ago. I don't need to know the details, but I want you to see what you saw specifically and then hear it. Maybe you said something to yourself the other day, something happened that was magical, and I just recorded it in my day planner. And I was very, very grateful. Grateful. Are you grateful? Are you grateful? Is that what you picked?
Yes.
Okay, grateful.
And that's something that I really
It's a powerful, powerful message.
I don't know how you're doing this. Now, how are you doing this?
With a lot of practice and a lot of help from a lot of friends.
But
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're getting help. But
I've had people help me. You know, it's not.
It was grateful, and I couldn't even focus on one thing because I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for my students. I'm grateful for the gifts that were given to me that helped me create. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for I'm just a grateful person.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. I am too. But I got to tell you, I wasn't always this way. I was very pessimistic, always looked at the negative side of things. I really believe, Carol, that you can rewire your brain.
Yeah, I've always been grateful.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I have something for the listeners, and it's a book that I wrote.
Okay.
It is How to Use the Power of Your Mind Around Gratitude. And all they have to do is go to www.gregdwyer, that's GregDwyer.com, and it just pops up. They can download the book, and I'd love to hear how what they think of it. But it's one way to get this message out.
I'll have to get it.
Oh,
for
that would
myself.
be great. Yeah,
yes.
that would be great. That'd be great.
So you've written a book.
I have, and I'm going to write a hardcover book. I'm working with a friend in New York. We're laying out the details. As my dad used to say, Rome isn't built in a day. But right now I have lecture notes. So when people come to my lecture, I give lecture notes. But eventually I will be writing a book. So I just turned 55 this year. So I know it's going to happen soon. I don't want to put it off another.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I've always felt that there was a book in me, and I'm not sure what it is.
Okay.
I do figure drawings, and somebody said that I should use those.
Yeah.
And then I'm saying, I think at some point it's going to maybe be a children's book.
Oh, that would be nice. I could see
illustrated by me.
I could see that.
But I'm not sure what it's going to be about. It may be about being grateful. Who knows?
Yeah, I think kids need to have that. So, yeah, I would definitely support you. Then we can go on a road tour. I'll do the speaking, you'll sell the books, and then we'll go all over the world.
Oh, sounds great.
If you can dream it, you can make it happen, you know.
You know, I've had that said to me so often, but some people have a stumbling block.
Well,
That
it was the
prevents-
word but. See, when at any time, and I'm not
Yeah.
criticizing, anytime
No.
someone says, I would love to go on a trip, but,
But.
or I would love to write a book, but, or I would love to change my job, but, they're really saying they're not going to do it. So language is
And
important.
it really bothers me because there is this little wall that I have to break through all the time.
I will help you. I'm working with a hypnotist in Florida that just put together a course on how to write a book, and it's all online. I'm going to be using it to write my book, and I'll have to introduce you to him.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that sounds great.
The reason I mention hypnosis is a lot of times people think, are you going to put me under a spell? And I say, what if I told you most of us were walking around in a trance?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we believe
Yeah.
that this is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
We believe that we can't get on a plane, or we believe that we can't write a book, or we believe that we
Yeah.
can't succeed.
Yeah.
And we have told ourselves that so many times
You
that
believe
it
it.
actually becomes hypnosis.
And that is, I think, what happens to a lot of people when they say the word but.
Yes.
It's you are the creator of your own destiny.
Yes.
You can do this, and then you go, but I don't know how to start. But I
Yeah.
don't,
Oh,
you know.
exactly.
And it's if you could get rid of the but.
It's either the fear of success or the fear of failure, or just wanting to have security. Yesterday I went down to Greenwich Village to
It's
meet a
not the
friend of
fear
mine.
of failure to me. I've done that so many
Oh,
times.
yeah?
I'm good at it.
No, that's good. That's really good. Last night I went down to Greenwich Village. It's not my scene. I don't know the area that well. I met a friend of mine. We went to a show, and I had to figure out the subway. I had to figure out the way to get there.
Yeah.
And since your brain isn't used to it,
Yeah.
then you do it, and then you can say, I can do it again. And it's
Yeah.
the same thing with anything. Whatever
Yeah.
you need to do, it's repetition, whether it's sales, whether it's writing a book or speaking. That's
It's
the key.
getting both sides of the brain to work. I am
Yes.
very right-brained. The
Ah.
left brain, they tested me in college, and
Okay.
they said, you don't have a left brain. I said, I know.
So the creative, all of the
All of
paintings.
it's right
Yeah,
brain
yeah,
stuff.
okay.
So the logic is just not there.
Okay.
And the sequential thinking isn't there. I think in spirals and circles.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm not a linear
You're not
thinker.
which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is until you want to get your artwork out there in different
Right.
places, and that's very difficult.
Well, team, is great. Working with a team. I would not be where I am today if it were not for the people that I mentor. I have a mentor, the people that I coach with, the people that I consult with. I just drove up to Boston to meet a friend of mine that's, been speaking for years. So I have a network. It's like a mastermind
Yeah,
group.
yeah.
And so anybody that's trying to be successful, I don't think you can do it by yourself. I think you
can't.
have to have people to help you.
I want a business manager.
Yeah.
That's what I
yeah,
want.
Sure.
I want somebody to say, okay, for a cut, I'll do all this stuff. I can't pay you a salary, but
Right.
for a cut of anything that you sell,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. So yeah, team is the way to do it because of the leverage.
Yeah.
Everybody has their strengths.
Yeah.
So
My strength is if I don't do something creative every day, I don't feel right.
right.
And the creative doesn't mean I have to paint or I
Right.
have to do pottery.
Mm-hmm.
It could be mucking up a recipe in a different way and
Sure.
having it come out really good.
Right.
That's creative.
Yeah.
Or-
I could never go to a job where I had a boss who would say, be here at a certain time, do this. I'm very creative. I want to be my own boss,
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
don't.
you're doing it.
I am. I don't punch a clock for anyone.
Yeah.
Every day is different. Every week is different. There's a little bit of risk because you don't know where you're going to be, but you just trust.
You don't
Trust.
have you're a single man.
Yes,
Right. So
right.
that makes a huge difference.
Sure, yeah.
Quite often, people have constraints put on them because of their life situation.
Oh, sure. Mortgage, house, children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people are taking care of parents. Some,
Right.
you just don't know.
Right.
But
I think you can start small. I mean, if people want to speak or they want to write a book or they want to follow their dreams or if they want to start a side business, I think you need to start something.
Yeah.
And then keep your day job. And I think really growing and contributing and giving back, that's where the real joy comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple of young students now. I haven't had kids in a while. I don't advertise for my pottery. People find me. So sometimes I have 2 students. Sometimes right now I have 4, 2 kids and 2 adults.
Wow.
And it's pretty nice.
That's nice.
I love having young people in my life. I love having them come. I learn from them. I watch them. It's just it's a cool thing.
And I'm
Really
thinking about the
cool.
pottery is like a metaphor. You're shaping them and they're shaping you. It's not just.
It's also you because I could be like a whirling dervish. I could just be off the charts. It grounds me because it's earth, fire, water.
Yes, yeah. Right.
So in the summertime, my hands are in the gardens. In the
Okay.
wintertime, they're in the clay. So
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh,
for
thank you.
being- Now, how about giving some of your contact information again?
Yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is just my name. So if people remember Greg Dwyer, that's Greg, D as in day, W as in Wednesday, Y as in yesterday, .com is my speaking.
Okay.
I have a .net, which is travel, but anybody can find me on gregdwyer.com. And the other way is Facebook. My real name is Gregory, so it's Gregory Dwyer or Greg Dwyer. I'm on Facebook. I'd love to connect with people on Facebook as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you connected with me on Facebook.
I don't know.
I don't think you did.
Okay, we'll have to
do that.
Okay, but I'm glad we're connected here.
Yes.
I mean, this is
a
better.
lot of fun, and
Yeah.
I just plan to have you on the show a couple of times a year.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Because it's good to have reoccurring.
Nice.
So, if you would like to be on this show, please call me, Carol Moore, at 860-567-0618 or email me at ctmoore4@optonline.net, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. At the beginning of the show, I said I really would like to have more people come on the show, and if you know anybody or would like to come on, please contact me. So until next week, I am Carol Moore. This is Vignette, and I'm going to do one more little plug about the Connecticut Cactus and Succulent Show, April 14th, 15th at the Bristol Senior Center on Stafford Avenue. No entrance fee. I'll be there selling my pottery. Lots of vendors, lots of lectures, lots of good stuff. So that's my promo here. Until next week, I'm Carol Moore. Have a great week.